Thank you for watching this special edition. I'm Aarti Subramaniam. COVID has hit virtually every aspect of our lives, leading us to deal with the new normal. On the occasion of National Sports Day, we're going to hear from India's top athletes on how they are dealing with their new normal, from modifying their training regimes to staying fit, not just physically, but also mentally. As various federations have now resumed or are looking to resume training processes officially, we're going to talk about sports in COVID times this evening. And joining me this evening, a very, very illustrious panel, Pullela Gopichand, former India player, former All India, All England champion, chief national coach for the Indian badminton team, of course, guru to our current badminton stars. Suma Shirur, former India shooter and gold medalist in the 10-meter air rifle pairs of the 2002 Manchester Commonwealth Games. Kidambi Shrikant, ace Indian badminton player and former world #1. Babita Phogat, Indian wrestler, Olympian, Commonwealth gold medalist and world champion. Atanu Das, Indian archer, bronze medalist in the 2013 World Cup mixed team event and a recipient of the Arjuna Awards today. Also, Manu Bhakar, a fellow recipient of the Arjuna Awards today. She's won 2 golds at the 2018 ISSF World Cup. She's the youngest Indian to win a gold medal at that World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to all of you. Now, I just want to go around the room to get a sense of how all of you have been dealing with this lockdown. I'm sure it feels good to be back to regular training. Shrikant, if I could start with you. I know you've just put up a video a couple of days ago of you back on the court. You also said it was really frustrating for you to stay at home and miss out on your regular sessions. So what does it feel like to be back, and how have you been dealing with these past few months?
Well, definitely, I think staying at home, not able to play badminton was really very frustrating. But again, I think it's really very happy to be back on court. I've been training for last 3 weeks here at the Gopichand Academy, so I'm kind of really enjoying being back on court. And yeah, so our World Federation has announced that they're going to conduct some tournaments in October. So I'm really looking forward to playing some tournaments.
You know, Shrikant, I know Gopichand is listening to you. He is, of course, your coach. But you can tell us if you've been slacking off on your training in these past few months. If there have been any cheat days, it's okay. I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Well, there were definitely some cheat days, and I wasn't really following a specific routine, but I just tried to kind of do at least some kind of physical activity for 1 hour. So that's what I only thought about for the last 4 months before August. So that was the only goal I had then. It was just about being able to do something every day.
Well, Gopichand, I'm sure you've been happy with Shrikant's progress. He's not fallen off the wagon as many of us have in these past few months. But you're actually a strict disciplinarian yourself. You have a very disciplined routine regime yourself, which I'm sure has gone out of gear as well. How have you been managing, and the physical aspect of it aside? I'm sure this has also been very grueling mentally for you and all your teams.
I think overall, I've been pretty happy with the way the players have responded. In fact, although Shrikant might have had a few cheat days, at the end of it, today, when you look at him in training after 3 weeks, I think he's almost back to where he was. So I'm happy with the progress and the responsibility with the athletes have acted. On my personal front, I think I've had time to reflect, had time to spend with myself. So physically and mentally, it's been good for me. In fact, the lockdown has helped me grow stronger.
Well, at least Shrikant getting like a little gold star from his coach there. That's good to hear. Atanu, many congratulations to you. You won the Arjuna Awards today. And I think this lockdown has also been very special for you for another reason. You've gotten married in this period. Not just has the Olympics date been postponed, but I think it's also affected the time that you were going to get married. This pandemic has turned out to be pretty good for you personally.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for the warm wishes. Yes, the pandemic situation is very worst for everyone, and I was doing yoga and meditation all the day, and I mean every day for 1 hour or 2 hour like that. And since March, I have been not shooting in 70-meter range, but recently our national camp is started from 25th August in ASI Pune, and I will be joining on 1st of September. And I'm very excited to join and start again in 70-meter range and practice again hard.
You say you're excited, but is there also an element of fear, perhaps of nervousness of getting back on track after such a long time?
No, it's I take it already positively, because in the pandemic situation, we get married and we are a little bit busy last few months with that, and I am pretty much excited. Yes, and yes, of course there will be a little bit fear, but I don't think I don't fear in the performance. I will get back very soon in 10 days or 15 days.
That's wonderful to hear. That's the spirit. Now, Manu Bakar, congratulations on your Arjuna Awards as well. You've also been keeping very busy during this lockdown. In fact, I've seen pictures of you painting. You've been riding tractors and bikes. So it's been a rather eventful lockdown period for you as well.
Yes. I just
Thank you so much,
wanted to keep myself very busy in this fatigue time, so I don't get fatigue and always stay positive and keep myself busy all the time.
Yes, Manu, congratulations to you on your Arjuna Award as well. I think you've been enjoying this lockdown period. It's given you an opportunity to try your hand at a number of other things as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, I've been trying a lot of different things during this lockdown period, and I've been painting, I've been doing horse riding, I've been driving tractors or bikes, and a lot of different things I've been doing. So it's going great and pretty smooth for me.
That's wonderful to hear. Also joining us this evening, Babita Phogat, who's along with a world-class athlete, has also become a politician now. Babita Phogat, very sorry to hear about your sister Vinesh, who's tested positive yesterday. I hope she's feeling better and she's in good spirits. Now, how do you think training and practice is going to go on in the current condition, given the fact that wrestling, unlike archery or badminton, is more of a contact sport?
अच्छा दिन बीता, क्योंकि पूरे परिवार के साथ हमें जुड़ने का मौका मिला और पूरे परिवार के साथ एकजुट रह के और खाना खाना हो या फिर गपशप करना हो, तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि हमें उस चीज को पॉजिटिवली लेना चाहिए कि जो चीज हमें कभी भी टाइम नहीं मिला था आपसे पहले की सबके साथ टाइम स्पेंड करना सबके साथ, तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा मौका था, एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी थी कि हम पूरे परिवार एक साथ बैठ के खाना खा सकते हैं। मैंने लॉकडाउन के दौरान खाना मुझे बनाना आता था, लेकिन बहुत सी नई डिशेज मैंने सीखी हैं और रही बात प्रैक्टिस की तो
right. Babita Phogat, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We seem to having some trouble with your audio and video. We'll come back to you. We'll just get that fixed and come back to you. In the meanwhile, if I can go to Suma Shurur. Now, you said that in April, you had a lot of junior shooters who used to keep you updated about their progress. They used to send you videos. Are they still doing that? Do you see the same level of enthusiasm and determination now? Or as the frustration of the lockdown set in amongst many budding athletes who sort of, petered down over time?
Actually, yeah, the first 2 months were pretty good for everyone. They were all very excited and they were also happy to be home because the last 2 years was like grueling. So it was like a little vacation, so everything was fine. But after 2 months, slowly it was the momentum was still on. But I think now after 5 months, I think it's a little too much. The lockdown has still not eased in many parts of the country, and we still don't have permissions like in some parts, like in Mumbai and other places where it's a red zone. So we still don't have permissions for opening the ranges, the indoor ranges, and so this is definitely it's getting more and more difficult, and I must say that it's especially more difficult for the youngsters, because especially in the age group of say 13 to 18, where they love competing and they enjoy competing, and now with no competition in sight, it's not easy for them, and kids, they want other children, so they want fellow shooters. The fun part was going to the range, interacting with the others. So I think this is getting a little too much, especially for the teenagers. The senior shooters, I think, are doing pretty well. They are more responsible, and they are the passion for the sport is more deep into them. So I think the senior shooters are managing quite well. But now I think it's getting more and more difficult for the juniors, especially for the teenagers. So I think it's time that we get started with the sport all over the country, and we need to open up. Otherwise, I'm afraid, we'll really have to start with zero. So
Yeah, in fact, Suma, I want to take you up on this a little more, and I want to dwell on this, especially with you and Gopi, who deal with young athletes on a daily basis, and how they're dealing with this not just physically, right, but it's also such a mental challenge. And what is the advice that you would give youngsters who are watching this right now and saying the uncertainty of this period? We don't know when this is going to end, so we don't know how to time ourselves or how to really pace out ourselves. What would you say to them?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've really said enough, and I've done enough of motivation for all the shooters in the last 5 months. But honestly, like today, I can say that now I'm really done with my words, and the kids need action. The young shooters really need action, because I think they've really showed a lot of patience and passion for the game in the last 5 months. Being at home, training indoors without access to ranges, wall holding. I mean, this after a point, let's face it, it gets boring. So, but in spite of that, the shooters have continued with it diligently. And as coaches, I think it was a huge responsibility for us in keeping them motivated. So we started online, and we realized that the shooters need to meet with the other shooters. So we kind of started meeting virtually on an online platform, and started discussing things. So that kind of kept the momentum going. But that can't go on longer than now. So I think so far so good. But now it's important to get started. And as far as the shooters are concerned, I would just tell them that hang in there. Remember, you have to dream big. Remember your dreams, your goals, and just hang in there. It's just a matter of, a couple of more months. And we are going to get started and be right there on top.
I think that's very important advice coming in from you for all the young athletes. Gopi, if I can take that to you, athletes are also so used to training with each other, meeting others. It's almost a community project in many senses. So to be in this lockdown for this long without knowing how long this is going to last, that uncertainty of that, how do you deal with the mental stress of this entire thing with young athletes?
Totally agree with what Suma Shishur had said. I think the initial couple of months were okay, but the fatigue of the lockdown sets in. So I know there are no easy answers, and it's still okay because the international athletes like, say, Srikanth can see light at the end of the tunnel. But for the younger athletes who do not know when training is going to start fully, or basically when tournaments are going to happen, and if it happens to be the last year of their juniors and they were wishing to be a national champion or a world champion, I think they miss out on this. So obviously there's a lot of effect more on younger athletes than on the older athletes. Having said that, I think all athletes are going through difficulty. But I think my only advice is just stay in there. We don't know how long this thing is going to last. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 2, maybe it's much more. We don't really know. But I think it's important to stay with the process. And at the end of the lockdown, whenever it happens, the people who are going to be physically stronger and mentally stronger are going to come back much better. As far as skills are concerned, I'm not too concerned because the muscle memory stays long. So you can actually come back and almost immediately start off from where you've left, provided you're physically and mentally up there.
और बबीता फोगाट जी, अगर आपको अभी मेरी आवाज आ रही है, अभी तक रेसलिंग का नेशनल कैंप शुरू नहीं हुआ। वो सितंबर में शुरुआत होने वाली थी, लेकिन अभी उसका पता नहीं है बिकॉज आई थिंक द रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया ने दोबारा पोस्टपोन किया है आफ्टर देयर वर सम कंसर्न्स अबाउट सेफ्टी। क्या आपको लगता है रेसलिंग को अभी ऑफिशियली ट्रेनिंग शुरू करना चाहिए, और अगर अब नहीं तो कब सही वक्त होगा ये शुरुआत करने में?
देखिए, रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ने पहले 1 अगस्त से स्टार्ट करने की परमिशन ली थी, लेकिन लॉकडाउन के देखते हुए काफी पॉजिटिव देखते हुए कि ज्यादा केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं, तो उसको देखते हुए टाइम थोड़ा बढ़ा दिया था। लेकिन अभी 1 सितंबर से स्टार्ट हो रहा है रेसलिंग का, तो ये सभी खिलाड़ियों के लिए भी खुशी की बात है कि दोबारा से वो रूटीन में आएंगे और अपनी जो ट्रेनिंग जो वो मिस कर रहे थे, उस ट्रेनिंग को वो प्रॉपर तरीके से कर पाएंगे, और जो एक उनका टारगेट है वो उस टारगेट की तरफ और जल्दी वो बढ़ेंगे।
और रेसलिंग में अनलाइक बैडमिंटन या अनलाइक आर्चरी, रेसलिंग इज ए कॉन्टैक्ट स्पोर्ट, तो क्या ज्यादा डर रहेगा कोविड का इस माहौल में?
देखिए, बिल्कुल, क्योंकि रेसलिंग एक कॉन्टैक्ट गेम है, और क्योंकि और बाकी गेम्स जैसे शूटिंग वगैरह की बात करें तो शूटिंग हम इंडिविजुअली भी कर सकते हैं। कोचिज अगर साथ में है तो वो कहीं घर पे भी कोई ऐसा कुछ बना कर कि घर पे ट्रेनिंग कर, लेकिन रेसलिंग कॉन्टैक्ट गेम है, उसमें कॉन्टैक्ट का रहना बहुत जरूरी है। और सभी खिलाड़ी यही चीज है कि सभी खिलाड़ी रेसलिंग को इसलिए मिस कर रहे हैं क्योंकि रेसलिंग से अगर कॉन्टैक्ट से हम 1 या 2 दिन भी दूर होते हैं तो मतलब हफ्ता 10 दिन हम पीछे चले जाते हैं। तो इसलिए उनका कॉन्टैक्ट के अंदर रहना बहुत जरूरी होता है, और वो जितनी ज्यादा वो दूर रहेंगे वो उतना ही पीछे चले जाएंगे। तो इसलिए अभी बड़ा अच्छा टाइम है, अब दोबारा से सबकी जिंदगी जो है वो अभी वापस पटरी के ऊपर आ रही है, और खिलाड़ियों ने अभी प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट कर रखी है, और कॉन्टैक्ट गेम है तो जरूरी है कि कैंप वगैरह लगे। और अभी रेसलिंग फेडरेशन, मेरी बात भी हुई थी तो उन्होंने कहा कि 1 सितंबर से रेसलिंग कैंप स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं।
अच्छा, सिर्फ एक बात बताइए, आप पिछले 1-2 महीने से आपका फिटनेस रिजीम क्या रहा है? बिकॉज एज यू आर सेइंग बहुत ही मुश्किल रहता है, स्पेशली रेसलिंग में। अगर आप एक दिन भी ट्रेनिंग मिस करो तो आपके गेम पर ओवरऑल असर होता है, तो आप कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं पिछले महीनों से?
देखिए, ये रेसलिंग के सभी खिलाड़ियों के साथ ये प्रॉब्लम है, जो भी कॉन्टैक्ट गेम है, रेसलिंग नहीं, मैं कहूंगी कि जो कॉन्टैक्ट गेम है वो हर खिलाड़ी उस चीज को मिस कर रहा है कि कब ये खत्म हो और कब हम वापिस से अपनी जो भाग दौड़ भरी जिंदगी में जिस तरह से हम ट्रेनिंग करते थे, प्रॉपर तरीके से हम ट्रेनिंग कर पाए। तो मैंने भी उस चीज को मिस किया है कि रेसलिंग, क्योंकि हमारा गेम ही रेसलिंग है जो कि पूरे मैट के ऊपर होती है और कॉन्टैक्ट में होती है, तो फिजिकल फिटनेस की तो हम हमेशा करते रहे हैं, और अपनी कोई चोट वगैरह है उसके ऊपर थोड़ा और फोकस कर लिया, और स्टेमिना के ऊपर, पावर के ऊपर ज्यादा फोकस कर लिया, ताकि इस जो ये टाइम हमें मिला है उसको हम यूटिलाइज कर सकें। और जो हमारी कमियां हैं, जैसे वीडियोज हमने देख ली, कोचिज से बात करके, जो हमारे अपोनेंट होते हैं जो हमारे वेट कैटेगरी में, उनकी वीडियो देख के अपनी जो कमियां हैं उनको नोट करना, उनको दूर करना, अगले की क्या कमियां हैं उसको कोचिज से बातचीत करके उस चीज को दूर करना। तो ये भी बहुत अच्छा टाइम रहा है। बस मिसिंग था तो वो ये था कि मैट हम मिस कर रहे थे। कॉन्टैक्ट हमारा गेम है, रेसलिंग हमारा गेम है, तो वो मैट हम मिस कर रहे थे।
No, I'm sure it is a very difficult time for all athletes. Atnu, I'm sure this has also affected your training process because again, it's an outdoor sport. I believe you have, you're obviously restricted performing indoors, practicing indoors. Just talk us through how you've managed to adjust and adapt to this entire change. Atnu Das, if you can hear me.
Hello. Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you. Yes. Come again, please.
Yes, I was just wondering how this pandemic has impacted your training because we just heard Babita Phogat telling us about how even missing 1 day's practice when it comes to wrestling is a setback by about 10 days. So how have you adapted and modified your training? Shifted it indoors at a time like this, and how has that entire transition been?
Yes, of course, it is very difficult to compare, 70 meters and 10 meters. I was training in 10 meters inside my home. I have a portable target. I was shooting in that target only to keep myself active and healthy, to keep myself in shape. So I don't have that much time. I have so much time in lockdown period to shoot the 10 meters. But the huge difference is in 70 meters where our competition always is in the 70 meters and outdoor. So weather condition is very important to us to verify and learn about the weather all the time. Every day we learn about the weather in and every arrow. It's a very difficult thing to compare 70 meters and 10 meters. It's a little bit hard for me to manage this thing. So I always do mental stuff and to keep positive.
No, certainly is a challenging time. Manu, I think even you've shifted. You have a shooting range indoors where you've been practicing during the lockdown. But incidentally, you said sometime in April, I was reading, you said that the shooting team was at its peak before COVID hit. So again, how has the transition been, especially when you're at the top of your game, to take almost, like a 4-month break in the middle of it and then have to adapt to an entirely new training regime to practice indoors? How has that been for you?
The lockdown period was is still quite disheartening because as we got to know that Olympics has been postponed, I couldn't even get over it for like weeks, and this was the thing that we were in correct shape, we were at the peak, but it doesn't mean that we cannot do that again. And I'm really looking forward to do that again, and I'm pretty confident about that. Apart from that, right now I'm just focusing to be positive, to be happy, and to be motivated. So it's all about keeping ourselves healthy right now.
Okay, let me take you up on that. You said positive, motivated, and happy. I think these are some very key words, especially for young athletes who look up to all of you, who are at home, who are frustrated, they feel they're missing out on crucial time. How would you recommend to young athletes who are watching this to stay precisely that, to stay motivated, to stay focused, and to not give up just yet?
I believe that shooting, I am passionate about shooting. That's why shooting makes me happy. And it's something that people can do, or different children or different athletes can do whatever pleases them. Horse riding pleases me, so I just often go for horse riding right now. And painting also does the same thing. So it's like whatever pleases you, whatever makes you happy, you should go for it. And meditation also is very important at this point of time. So motivation isn't a thing that you don't require to be motivated from something particularly or somebody particularly. It just comes naturally. You can be motivated by just your neighbor or within your family. Anything, anybody can motivate you. It's just you need to see his or her positive things.
I think that's important. Find your motivation, find your happiness in small things around you, in people around you. Srikanth, how does it feel to be back in court in terms of your physical fitness? How, if you were to compare, the training before and now, how has it been? How has that journey back into competitive training been for you?
Well, definitely it was really very tough in the initial, I think the first week was very tough. Me and Gopi sir were talking about it. So it was very tough. And then I think I'm slowly getting used to it. But I think it's been 3 weeks and then I'm really very happy with the progress. And there are about 4 more weeks for the next tournament. So I'm just looking forward to kind of pacing it gradually so that I can be, at my best by the end of 4th week for the tournament.
But tell me honestly, is there a sense of fear that has crept in, or a sense of insecurity? Because so much of this entire sport is also about mental fortitude as much as it is physical fitness, right? And when you're off competitive sport for such a long time, certain doubts do creep into your mind, certain fears do creep into your mind. Have you faced that situation?
Well, it was definitely very tough. I think from April or from mid of March to say August first week, it was very tough. The Olympics being postponed. We've really worked hard in the last probably 10, 12 months, to qualify for the Olympics. And then suddenly when you get to know the news about Olympics being postponed, I think it's really very tough to take. But again, it's really important, to stay focused. I think it's just not only about Olympics. It is about being able to stay fit, stay healthy, and then getting back whenever it is possible, and then being able to get back to our 100%, and then playing the next tournament at our 100% as kind of the goal that I've put for myself. It's not purely only the Olympics for me now. It's more about getting to the best shape, or getting to my 100% fitness, and then playing the next tournament well.
Yeah, I think the whole realigning of your goals is also an important part of this, because everything has changed. It's like life has upended entirely. Gopi, the badminton camp has recently resumed. There was a bit of a setback. There was a COVID scare over there. The camp had to be briefly suspended. It's just resumed now. Is there an element of fear now in amongst any of the players that you sense? And there's been a lot of talk about whether or not even the badminton camp needed a biosecure bubble like we've seen in other sports, we've seen in the IPL. Do you think that a different approach, like a biosecure bubble, would have helped? Gopi, I need you to unmute your Zoom. We are having trouble there. I think you've gone on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah. Luckily for us, the COVID scare was a false positive. So it just turned out that the athletes and the physio were perfectly all right. Having said that, I think this scenario is definitely different. As Srikanth has mentioned, we've had to train differently and adapt differently. And there is a scare among players, definitely, but there's also a kind of an excitement to start and ensure that things need to move on. So obviously, we need to take all precautions and ensure that we are in a safe space, but also it's important to not let the COVID scenario bog us down, because there are many fields, many professions, like doctors and policemen and people who are really working for the last 5 months, taking precautions. And the sportsmen whom we are talking about are not recreational sports persons. They are professional athletes. So I think things need to start, and we need to go ahead with all the precautions. But yes, there is definitely need for us to adapt and ensure that we are in a secure place. And if that means a bubble, it is good if we can have that.
Is that something that you will be speaking to the Badminton Federation or the Sports Authority of India about?
Well, I think the Sports Authority of India has common guidelines for all sports. So with hockey, with wrestling, shooting, badminton, I think all of them have similar norms, and definitely, I'm sure we have a set of standard operating protocols which are there from SAI, and we are following those.
Mhm. Suma, the SAI guidelines, as Gopi was mentioning, are extremely detailed. Is there something more like the biosecure bubble that we are talking about that you would like to be added in that? Do you think the guidelines as present are enough to allay clear concerns and also to ensure that, that there is complete safety?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite good, and every federation has come up with their own SOPs. So I think it's pretty much everything is covered in that. So as far as the training is concerned, I think that's not the fear. You know, once you are in the once you're in the camp, that's not the fear. I think the biggest fear is the travel, because in India, you know, we are all coming from different parts of the country, and so I think the fear is you know, what if you catch an infection in the travel? So because even as far as shooting is concerned, we were supposed to have a camp and everything was pretty much in place, but I think a lot of the senior coaches and some of the athletes and the families really express their fear about you know, catching an infection in the travel. So I think that is something that is kind of a big deterrent, and that's really a question mark, you know, that's coming in the way as to how do we go about it. So but as far as you know, the SOPs are concerned, I think they're pretty much in place, and if everyone is quarantined and if everyone is in one safe environment, there's little chance that we can you know, we can catch an infection unless anyone gets it in the travel. So I think that's the concern.
I think obviously the big event in any athlete's life is, of course, the Olympics, and that's been pushed to next year as a result of COVID, of course. Manu, the entire postponement, the whole rescheduling, how has this affected your approach towards the Olympics, both in terms of mental and physical preparation? Are you in some way grateful for this additional 1 year?
I don't really think a lot about the situation, so I'm happy all the time. It's just that we can't do anything about it. I can't change this thing. It's already decided. So, yes, I'm positive towards it. And no matter what, we are trying our best.
Manu, that's a wonderful attitude. This is completely out of your hands. There's nothing you can do about it. Just accept it and adapt. I love your attitude towards that. Atnu, what about you? Do you think this 1 year of additional time for the Olympics is a blessing in disguise? Okay, we seem to have lost his line. We'll try and come back to him in just a bit. Shrikant, what about you? You've also had a few injuries. So has this been a blessing in that sense where you've gotten some additional time to recuperate?
I feel in a way, yes, because I could actually work on my injuries, you know, in the last 4-5 months. You know, I really worked on them a lot. And then, so that is the reason I could really start immediately. So I think in a way, it really helped me, I feel.
Well, at least there's some silver lining to this entire COVID pandemic. It's given us at least some of our best athletes at times time to recuperate from that. We'll try and get back to Atnu. I want to ask and get him in on that as well. On this, Suma, just to come back to the entire process of training this. Now, you were describing, I think, in an interview earlier about the effect that the pandemic has had on the training session, and you had said the whole pyramid has been affected and the signs will be visible soon. What do you mean by that? And how do we deal with a situation like this, a prolonged lockdown like this?
See, as far as the Olympic athletes are concerned, I think they are pretty much covered, and so when it all started, in fact, when the lockdown started, the Olympic athletes the shooters were really at their peak, and they were in that bubble, and they had trained, and they were in that complete zone. They were in the zone. So unfortunately, you know, with the pandemic, I think slowly they are. The first 2 months were good, and now slowly, but they are pretty much covered. My main concern is the next line. what about the next line? Because they don't have access to ranges, and a lot of them do not have ranges in their houses. So my big concern is, what about the next line, and especially shooters? And then the next is, especially when the shooters have just begun, and they form the base, and even before they start, and they don't have enough muscle bodies, they don't have enough muscle memory to sustain them. So I think after a point, and they're not so much into the sport that they have developed the kind of passion that is required, or the kind of motivation that is needed without anything in front. I think it's difficult to keep the sport alive in the lower run. And in fact, I've also got a lot of information about the new shooters who just bought their own rifles. They are willing to sell it up. They want to sell it, and they want to give up the sport also because of the financial crisis that families are going through. So I think the base is really it's going to really come down to a smaller base, and so the whole pyramid gets affected. So I think it's really time that we have to open up sport, albeit in a small way, maybe no competitions, but sport in general. I think we have to open it up. Otherwise, it's really going to affect the entire pandemic, because the numbers are going to slowly come down at the base level, and they are the future champions. I'm not really worried about the Olympic core group, because they are pretty much covered. Everyone is taking care of them. But what about the base below? So there are some ranges that are getting shut because there's not enough money to run it. And how do you pay the coaches? So slowly, when the ranges are shutting down, number of shooters are going down. So I think the whole pyramid is going to get affected if we don't start now. I think it's really time.
It's interesting that you say that. We've had a number of cases coming out recently, very distressing for a number of young families who are in financial distress. They've had to give up the sport that they love. They've had to give up the sport that they're choosing to pursue because, of course, of this current pandemic. And it's a very important issue that you've raised. Gopi, do you think we need some sort of institutional support for such cases of either younger athletes who, as Suma was saying, it's a very difficult time for them financially as well to be supporting their passion, perhaps some sort of funding from the government to look after them at a time like this?
I think very, very important. I think one is facilities getting affected, because if you're running a facility and if you have electricity bills and water bills, and if you have loans to pay for, and you're not getting any income for the last few months, so that affects sport. The coaches, the markers, all of them get affected. And they are kind of a backbone. So they'll be affected, and of course the athletes. And at the end of the day, all of this also shakes the confidence in sport. So a kid who is 13 and who is not sure about sport says, maybe I lose 2 years because of this. Why invest in something where I could do something else in that time? And maybe once even it opens up, international sport can talk about bubbles and sanitizing and ensuring that things go on well. But what about domestic events? You're going to have thousands of kids play. Like a badminton tournament, we roughly have about 2,500 entries. So you're almost looking at venues with 4,000 people. So you don't know when this is going to start, when coaching in a normal sense is going to start, when parents will have the confidence to send kids to different places by public transport. We are not sure. So I think sport at junior level and sport at grassroots is majorly affected. And Suma's clearly right in saying that the top athletes are responsible and also are covered, because there's a lot of people who are taking care of them. But the next in line is going to really face it, and that will show in time, because you will have a break in the pyramid. And that's something we need to act fast, and we need government to really support the entire pyramid.
No, that's very, very true. It's the nameless, faceless athletes, and not just the athletes, Gopi, even coaches who are training these youngsters who are going to face a huge burden. I think it's an important statement that you're saying that the government needs to find a way to support this pyramid. Incidentally, at a time when we're talking, the government has just announced the new guidelines for unlocking India, and one of them says actually that sporting events will be allowed with a ceiling of 100 people. Now, I don't know whether that means purely in terms of spectators or the fine print of that, but looking ahead, when do you think, Gopi, that we can actually look at playing sport with spectators? Right now, even the international events that have begun are in completely empty stadiums, and sports without its spectators is almost without its soul, isn't it?
Well, I think when you have no sport at all, to sport without spectators, I will take the sport without spectator as a blessing. I think we don't have an option, and I would be very keen to see sport and professional athletes and kids who believe that this is their profession being given an opportunity to train, the people who have invested in the sport to ensure that they continue doing the sport, and also people who have invested in the sport in infrastructure, and people whose careers are in the coaching and the supporting staff. I think all of them are critical areas in this entire puzzle. So we need to ensure that each of them are taken care of. The sport without spectators, I'm not too worried about. I think my bigger concern is this, because not many sports in our country, especially in our country at least, depend on gate money to fund the sport. So yes, it might affect cricket, and maybe I don't think any other sport other than cricket, people are going to pay those amounts, and that's a significant revenue. So I would be keen to see sport start, and if it's without spectators, which is safe, then I don't mind, because no sport to sport without spectators any day can be taken up.
Srikanth, I'm sure you're not going to disagree with your coach, but be honest, you'd love to be playing in front of a packed house, wouldn't you?
Well, definitely, yes. So playing in front of our home crowd is definitely it gives a lot of excitement. It gives a lot of thrill. But again, playing the sport should be the first priority, and that is my first priority. I think being able to compete is kind of a blessing in the times that we are in. So I think that'll be the first thing for me. First to start off playing tournaments, and then to think of having the spectators inside the stadium.
No, I'm sure that is actually, I think everybody here is just grateful that training has resumed. It's a step in the right direction, and we're all waiting for things to go back as normal, but to normal. But Srikanth, Manu was just talking about the fact, and I loved her spirit for it, for just saying, well, it is what it is. There's nothing that we can do about it. Let's just adjust and adapt. But I'm sure it's not as easy, especially for a professional athlete who has to deal with a lot of mental stress and a lot of mental health issues. But it's not something that is spoken about very openly, about pressures, mental pressures and mental health issues in sports itself. And I'm sure in this pandemic time, sportspersons across ages, across countries have had to deal with this issue.
Well, definitely, yes. I think there'll definitely be a lot of mental pressure. There'll be a lot of expectations. And then every time you don't meet that expectation, there'll be a lot of things that'll be happening around you. So in a way, there'll definitely be a lot of mental pressures for sure. But again, it is really important to put your head down and then focus on what's next. And so I think that is the way I look at it. It's more about, putting a short-term goals and, aiming to do well, focusing on doing your best in the next few tournaments that are coming up. And it was also, in a way, it was tough during the lockdown because we never, we didn't know when will be the next tournament for any of us. But now, because we have some tournaments in sight, I think it'll help us train, thinking about that tournament or keeping that tournament in mind. I think that's one advantage that we have now, at least in badminton.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're completely running out of time, but Manu, one final word to you. What is the lesson that you have learned from this pandemic? What is your big takeaway from this lockdown period that you've learned about yourself, about the things and people around you?
Well, again, it is about. Oh, sorry. So is that to Manu or is that to me?
Okay. Manu, Shrikant, we'll get to Manu and then I'll come back to you. Shrikant.
Sure,
We'll just
yeah.
get Manu in.
The first thing that I think I give priority is to make myself happy, and then of course spending time with the family. So these are the two things that right now I'm coping with, and I'm loving to do that.
Shrikant, sorry, go ahead. What is the big takeaway, the big lesson that you've learned from this pandemic?
Well, it is again that you really can't control many things in your life. It is about just doing things that can keep you fit, that can keep you healthy. And then I think the blessing from the lockdown is that I got to stay with my parents for about 4 or 5 months in a stretch that I don't even know when that last happened, because me, my brother, mom and dad, we never I think the last 12, 13 years, we didn't get to stay together in one single room, like under one single roof. So it's a big blessing, I feel. And again, now I'm in Hyderabad, so I'm really looking forward to getting back on court, playing some tournaments, keeping myself fit for next tournaments that are coming up.
Well, I'm sure your family was really happy to have you at home, not traveling under their eyesight for the longest of time. Pulela Gopichand, Suma Shirur, Shrikant and Manu Bhakar, thank you so much for joining us. Also, thank you to Babita Fogart and Atnu Das. We've lost our line with them, but ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful chat. It's not been easy on any one of us, but given the fact that athletes lead such a disciplined life, they all have that big Olympic gold dream in front of them. The past few months have certainly been trying, but of course, sports in general is not just about physical fitness, it's about mental fortitude, and all of you have really shone through. We're going to slip into a short break. Thank you so much for joining us.